Fit Money CPA, where vet med meets smart business. Man, so glad you're all here. I want to talk about some quarterly estimates. We have one coming up right around the corner, and wanted to talk about why, first of all, we would pay quarterly estimates. So one reason, and I have clients that tell me they don't really care about this reason, but one reason is that if you don't pay in your quarterly estimates and you have tax due, then the IRS is going to charge you interest and penalties. Again, I have some clients that say, I don't care, I'm keeping my money and I'll just pay them all when the tax is due. So I have to tell you to pay them. You can decide what you want to do. But so the reason that I suggest and encourage the payment of quarterly estimated taxes is instead of getting hit at the end of the year with one huge tax bill, we kind of break it up into smaller bites. And, that goes along with our previous discussions about, hey, let's put some money aside for these things. And as you're bringing that money in, whatever the revenue is, you can decide the percentage. Say you want to put 10%, 20% of your profits aside for taxes. I think that's a great idea. Just slide it on over to a different bank account so you don't see it in your operating account. Comes time for those quarterly estimates, you can just write that check. And okay, nobody writes checks anymore. You can go to the irs.gov website, and when you register for the ID Me, you can go in there and pay. You'll see all of your activities for your taxes. It's actually a pretty cool website, if you want to geek out on it. But so again, the quarterly estimates are in order to not have that shock in March or April when you're paying your taxes. And what it is, we can do safe harbor estimates, which is making sure you have 100% of your prior year tax liability paid in. What the heck? So let's just say your tax liability for 2024 was $20,000. We would make quarterly estimates, $5,000 each, so that by the end of the year, you would have 100% of 2024 taxes paid. If we do that, no interest and penalties would be charged. We can also base it off of your profit for the quarter. And it's a long calculation, but, happy to do it. Obviously we use Excel. Sometimes we even do it by hand. But, we do want to try, when we're doing the actuals, we're trying to get close to what you might actually owe at the end of the year. Now, obviously, by Q4, we would know what your profit was or have a pretty solid idea, because there's some things that are still outstanding in mid-January. But we can always call true up your estimates, which means you've made these first 3-quarter estimates at whatever it happens to be. Let's go back to our $5,000 example. Then we base that Q4 on actual numbers, and we're like, whoa, wait a minute. We're projecting tax liability to be $22,000 instead of that $20,000. So we just add another 2 to the Q4 estimate. It gets us caught up on those estimates, keeps the interest and penalties as low as we possibly can, because the IRS calculates it from quarter to quarter to quarter on the interest. So if you're doing safe harbor and then all of a sudden wanted to do actual, very possible it could bump up a little bit. So quarterly estimates are due April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th. Kind of odd dates, but they kind of sort of fall in with quarters. So again, we can actually calculate what the actual estimate should be for that quarter. So pop on my calendar down below, and we're happy to chat about this with you, see what you have going on and how we can help. So remember, you run the clinic, we run the strategies. Your dream practice, your real